With borders now open to international travel, New York is ready to invest in tourism again, a key industry for the state.
And Governor Kathy Hochul announced an investment in bringing tourists back to New York. Post-pandemic, it's just one of several initiatives to rebuild the New York State economy devastated by the pandemic.
All right, joining us right now, Governor Kathy Hochul. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York.
Delighted to be back. Thanks.
All right, so I know that you were out there in the theater district supporting Broadway, which is, of course, very key to our economic engine here in New York. But what I've noticed is a lot of the hotels in Midtown still have not reopened yet. How do we get that moving?
Well, my concern as well, because this is the third largest industry in the state of New York, a huge driver of economic activity as well as jobs. We've lost so many jobs. Hotels are still down 30%. From what they were just pre-pandemic. So that's a lot of people out of work. So yes, I was at Broadway. I had a chance to go on the stage at 6 and welcome everybody. A little risky for a politician because you're never sure if they're going to boo you or not, but they seem very excited.
By the way, 6 is a little risky too.
It was fun.
It was fun. Yes,
I gotta have some fun, right? I love the fun. But yeah, I do see people there. You know, New Yorkers are enjoying it, but we have to get them back. You're right about the international tourists. They're finally coming back. Canadian border was closed all this time, so we lost that. But we have to get them back, or we're not back as a state. I declared that until tourism is fully back, we get all the hotels reopened, get the life back, all the activities, all the culturals fully open. We're not going to be all the way there, and I'm fighting every single day to create ways that we can get people to come back to the city, spend their money. We rely on this industry, and just feeling that sense of normal again that we all so desperately crave.
I think part of the normalcy is walking around without a mask. And can we talk about vaccine masks? Because the kids obviously still in school mandated to wear them. Mayor-elect Eric Adams says he's hoping by January 1st he can get rid of them. Where do you stand on this, and how soon?
Oh, I absolutely want the kids to not have to wear masks any longer than necessary. So I'm excited about the fact that there's a lot of interest in getting kids vaccinated. I was at sites recently. I'm heading up to Mount Vernon to make an announcement about this. So if parents do the right thing all over the state, get their kids vaccinated, there will come a time when there's no reason to wear a mask, that every child is safe. But we need compliance. And in some communities, it's stronger than others. So let's get the kids vaccinated. I don't have a date. I'm not going to prejudge this. There's no way I can know. I need to know how people are doing. Are a lot of people getting vaccinated, or is there an early rush and then it plateaus and then half the kids in the class aren't protected? That's what I'm watching. I'm always driven by the numbers, so that's why I can't say on this date we're going to do X.
But you wouldn't stop the mayor from taking away.
You know what's interesting about my administration? We're redoing a reset of relationships with the mayor of New York, and I'm really looking forward to working with Mayor Eric Adams. I work with him very closely in his role as borough president. So Albany is not going to be this big bad guy dictating everything. I will support what local officials want to do for sure. So we'll work closely on this. I think that the era of all the drama between Albany and New York is over. I've declared it over, and I'm reaching my hand out, work with the mayor to get things done. So.
Yeah, that's a refreshing take, especially what we experienced, you know, past last year. But let's fast forward to when this vaccine for kids becomes fully FDA approved, because right now it's just under emergency use authorization. A lot of people were surprised that almost a dozen schools ran out of these vaccines yesterday. So once it becomes fully FDA approved, are you going to mandate vaccines for kids to get back to in-person learning?
Well, we are back in person. I mean, you know, we want to make sure that the kids who are there are safe. The masks are an important part of that. I'm going to be thinking about that, but I've not made a decision. I'll tell you why. I want to see also what the federal government says we need to do. I'm not going to freelance on this. I'm not going to just say, do a one-off and say New York is going to. I want to see what the recommendations are. Eric Adams, I heard, was talking about maybe next fall. So we're not talking in the short term. I'm not going to say it right now because I don't have enough data to see if that's the right thing to do. I think it makes sense. I prefer parents do it voluntarily without having to be told to do it. I think that's the right approach. However, if we don't get enough people doing it and it holds back our recovery, I can't let that happen. I mean, and kids got to know, parents know, they're going to be seeing grandma and grandpa over Thanksgiving. You know, grandma and grandpa still might be vulnerable. We're still losing people every day to this virus. I'm not an alarmist. I want this over as much as anybody, but we have to be smart about it.
We do have to ask you, just because I feel like a whole lot of people's jaws hit the floor when now Mayor-elect Eric Adams gave DeBlasio a B+ for how he ran the city. You know, this is someone that's possibly considering a run for governor. Would you give A different grade. I mean, B+ is pretty high. We don't got much to go to get to A. So would you give something else?
Bianca, that is a setup question. I am not falling for that question. You know, here's the thing. I'm the governor of the state, first female governor. I'm proud of that role. I'm honored to have this role. I've been lieutenant governor, which is the understudy, for 7 years.
Yeah.
No one knows this state, the people, or the issues better than I do. So I'm really looking forward to a robust debate. Anybody else wants to pursue the job? This is America. Go at it.
I like that.
We're going to be looking forward to that. Let's talk about crime, because you know crime also is tied to people coming back to our city. Mayor-elect Eric Adams says that he wants to reform bail reform. Obviously, that is in Albany's hands. Where do you stand on that?
I understand the anxiety surrounding this. I'm going to be working with the legislature. This is, again, another difference in my administration. I'm going to be working with our legislature. It doesn't happen, no matter what I want to have happen, does not happen if the Assembly and the Senate do not support it. So my approach is have the conversation. Let's talk to them. What's the right way we can approach this? We have to make people feel more secure in their streets. I walk the streets of New York City all the time. People, sometimes they recognize me, sometimes they don't. I am there talking to families, literally on the Upper West Side a couple days ago. Young family said, please keep us safe. I said, I will keep you safe. I'm going to work with the new mayor. We have to address the homelessness problem. No one in this great city should be sleeping on the streets. That cause anxiety for people who see this and experience this. They're anxious, I understand it, but no human being should be subjugated to having to live on the streets without supportive services in a beautiful home, a nice home. I'm going to focus on that. Also, I'm working to get guns off the streets. The ghost guns, I just banned them. They were illegal. You could have ghost guns that you just make up in your house. And I'm working with our neighboring states so we can have a database. When we find someone who has an illegal gun, you can't now take it to another state. We're going to know who has what. Stopping guns at the border. I'm doing all kinds of things right now to play the role that the state can in addressing the crime issue, because I want every parent to know when their child walks out the door and goes to school that they're safe. I'm a mom. This is personal to me, and I'll fight for that.
I want to, you know, be specific. Are you in favor of reforming bail reform?
I believe something needs to be done, but I'm not going to prejudge the legislature right now, because it will not get over the finish line. I know how to get results. I've been an elected official a long time, and I know if I come out and do press conferences and say one position, you get locked in it. It's hard to negotiate to get a better result with the legislature. I know this more than most, and so people have to trust that we'll get the right results for the people. I will protect the people of this city and this entire state, and I'll work with elected leaders to get that done.
All right, so we knew you as a lieutenant governor. You used to come on Good Day New York. Now you're coming back as governor. I feel like we need to get to know you a little bit better.
Sure.
I met your husband. You have 2 children.
Yes, yes.
Well, adult children. I always
kids.
call them my children.
Yeah,
They're married.
It's fun to have adult kids. The next time around, I'm going to adopt all adult kids. They're fun. We travel. We go to bars.
Skip the teen phase, right?
Skip teen is fine with me. But I'm an expert on raising teens, and I think that's why I'm so good at this business. I mean, I've raised teenagers.
Yeah.
I said this when I went to Congress, and people said, how can you handle the rough and tumble? And people always fight. I said, raise teenagers. I've got this.
So what else do we not know about Kathy Hochul?
I have to have fresh air every day. That's why I walk to the office. I love being outdoors. I love riding my bike whenever I can. I love hiking in the woods. I've explored all the state parks. They're magnificent. I'm energized by people. I mean, people say, what do you do to relax? I will probably walk the streets of New York if I have 5 minutes, because I love seeing people. I just embrace the whole experience of this great city and the most beautiful state in the nation. And I'm honored to do this. So I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. And it's a very humbling experience. It truly is, to know that there's a lot of little girls. And again, another mother yesterday told me when I was at a vaccination site, I get down and look at the kids right in their eyes and say, look at this is a woman governor. You could be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
That just touches my heart.
Yeah.
And I know I
Very
have to get this right.
It's very true.
So the doors are open for all women and every little girl to know she can be anything she wants, even the top executive in a place as rough and tumble as the state of New York.
I agree, especially you know, when kids are kind of stuck on social media these days too. It's nice to see that their dreams can expand far beyond that.
And it's so important.
Real quick too, I have to ask, favorite food?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Woo! Okay, a favorite song?
What was that question?
Favorite song?
I'll go with what we just heard. Taylor Swift, welcome to New York. Let's promote New York. Let's promote New York.
Well, we're happy that you're back here, Governor Kathy Hochul, and of course we wish you well, because when you do well, we do well.
Thank you. It's great to see you both again. I'll see you at the restaurant and out walking the streets of New York.
There we go.
Fantastic. Thank you,
Okay.
Governor.